Our top story today from the gatewaypundit.com, FBI Director Kash Patel reveals a Chinese plot to create thousands of fake mail-in ballots in 2020 election. Wray hid this like he did the Iranian breach of the 2020 election system. We're covering this story from Jim Hoft and so much more here on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. We're covering the top stories of the last 24 hours. Our top story today, published by Jim Hoft, talks about a plot by the Chinese government to breach our election. Why did our previous administration hide this from us? Well, we have all the details here as FBI Director Kash Patel announced on Monday that the FBI has located documents that detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election, including allegations of interference by the CCP. According to Kash, the Communist Chinese were involved in a plot to create thousands of fake mail-in ballots in 2020 using fake voter registrations. And it should be clear that China was not creating fake ballots to assist Donald Trump. The Chi-Coms detested Trump and what he had done to their economy. Trump was the only U.S. president in decades to take on the Chinese Communist Party. Kash tweeted out this report from Just the News on Monday. The FBI has located documents which detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election, including allegations of interference by the CCP. I have immediately declassified the material and turned the documents over to the chairman, Grassley, for further review. The information was disregarded by the FBI in August of 2020. The newly declassified intelligence reports from August 2020 weren't corroborated or fully investigated, and instead were recalled from intelligence agencies at about the time that the FBI Director Wray testified there were no plots of foreign interference ahead of the 2020 election, which Biden defeated Donald Trump, officials told the news. The new documents were turned over to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, a Republican of Iowa, who had first raised concerns to the Bureau that the intelligence hadn't been fully vetted, and instead of dismissed even though there was evidence of the fake licenses. Thanks to the oversight work and partnership of Chairman Grassley, the FBI continues to provide unprecedented transparency at the People's Bureau. Patel told Just the News in a statement, and to that end, we have located documents Chairman Grassley requested which detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election. Especially these including allegations of plans from the CCP to manufacture fake driver's licenses and ship them to the United States for the purpose of facilitating fraudulent mail-in ballots. Allegations which, while substantiated, were abruptly recalled and never disclosed to the public. In accordance with Chairman Grassley's request for documents, I've immediately declassified the material and turned the document over to the chairman for further review. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is that we knew that there were unsubstantiated claims about the 2020 election that were hidden. Whenever they start using phrases like, it was the safest election in American history, remember that? Remember they said it was the most secure election in American history, actually. You're going, is it? Because every other year they talk about fraud and intervention, and the entire last election, all you talked about was Russian interference. We had the entire fake dossier and plan to undermine Trump as a Russian plant. Those are crazy times to live in. Now I kind of think about them. It's like, you know how much bullshit I've had to go through? And you too, watching the show, of just people falling for things. Just like people are falling for this Iran thing right now, you know? But we've got to stop them from having nukes. Are you falling for this? Did you get vaccinated against COVID? Because you probably did. You probably fell for everything. You know? You just fall for it all. And it gets tiring sometimes because it's when you don't fall for things, the reward is pain, right? So it's like, it's not like if you notice something's wrong, you get ridiculed by your colleagues, censored, and oftentimes monetarily crushed by your enemies, maybe even physically put in danger, depending on how much you notice, right? It makes it hard to work in the media industry when you notice what's really going on, because they don't want the truth. They just rather push lies on the audience pretty much everywhere. I'm not here, of course, but, most places. And, people like myself, we're not incentivized to tell you the truth, right? We're incentivized to tell you what the Republican Party thinks, or what the GOP wants, or what Trump is thinking. We kind of tell you, here's what Trump said, and here's what they said. We don't really tell you, hey, I've done my own investigation. As people know, I'm an investigative reporter. Was a field reporter. I used to be mostly a journalist. That's what I used to do before I was a podcaster. And, I've done a lot of work over the years writing and looking into the government. And what I've noticed is the same thing, is that, people fall for the lies every time. And there's only one thing that you're guaranteed in life other than death and taxes. It's that the American people like to be lied to, and they prefer to believe in a lie than the truth. Very sad reality, but it is what it is. Here's the original tweet here from Kash Patel. Saying the FBI located documents which detail the alarming allegations. The fact that our FBI director also is just sharing, news screenshots is kind of wild as well. Bit unprofessional, but, maybe he's just trying to be a man of the people. I feel like we've lost a lot of the decorum of government now with social media. Things like they give like Nancy Mace's tits out. What is that about? I mean, are they nice? I wouldn't comment on that on a political show, but some people have commented that they are. But she's a congresswoman and she's showing pictures of her boobs. You know what I mean? And by the way, I love Anna Paulina Luna. By the way, she's an old friend of mine, but it's like was like an underwear model. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of crazy where you're like, it's like weird. You can see congresswomen in their underwear and stuff. It's like what's really like this? Should there be like a level of like decorum, like some level of like professionality? Because things have just gotten so weird. You know what I mean? You have people like getting frisky in movie theaters and Congress is just such a strange place. The entire federal government is weird. But obviously, we are witnessing a generational decline in men's testosterone levels due to lifestyle choices, diet, even exposure to environmental toxins. Now, this decline can result in persistent fatigue, that tiredness. I just had Chipotle, and that made me tired. Sam, what is in Chipotle? That made me so tired. I didn't even have any rice or beans. I'm exhausted. That's not supposed to happen. Luckily, I'm not fatigued for any other reason than my food, but maybe you are. Do you have reduced libido, maybe even mood swings, overall loss of vitality, keeping you from feeling like your best self? Well, you need to check out your testosterone levels. Most men have dangerously low levels. Now, Man's Edge from Nutronics Labs is important. This is not just your normal supplement. You can get powders and pills on Amazon that say they can help your testosterone, but they get degraded in your GI tract. Directly in your stomach by the acid, or they just don't get absorbed at all because the compounds get broken down or they're too large to even be brought up through your epithelial layers there. However, you can inject stuff into your buttocks to increase your testosterone, or you can also put something under your tongue. That's what this product does, Man's Edge. They offer you an alternative to needles with the same effectiveness, some people say, increasing your testosterone levels up to 46% with active ingredients like fenugreek, IGF, and NO2. Take control of yourself, get your libido up, and increase your testosterone up to 46% with new 98% absorption delivery method patented by Americans for Americans. Experience the full benefits of all of the active ingredients at ElijahIGF1.com. That's ElijahIGF, the number 1.com. Use promo code Elijah at checkout and receive additional 10% off. But guys, I encourage you to use the auto ship, because buy one, get one free. So 2 bottles for the price of one. I don't know why you wouldn't. Plus, you get the additional 10% off. You're getting it at cost. It's good. You got to check it out. Elijah IGF, the number 1.com, promo code Elijah. It's my name, ELIJAH. If you want to know where to find it, it's on the screen and in the description. Now, that being said, in other news, Brian Lupo reports that Coomer versus Lindell update. Mike Lindell was found liable of defaming Eric Coomer, but My Pillow Company is spared. You can see here, Ash in America said, well, at least I was right about My Pillow. My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, found liable for defamation for his statements about Dominion Voting Systems executive Eric Coomer. Federal jury orders Lindell to pay $2.3 million, far less than the $62.7 requested by his attorneys. Listen to the full story. His last name is Kumer. If you're older than 30, you wouldn't know what that means. But that is the kids use that word to describe people who are wankers. So it's kind of funny if you're young. Over the past 2 weeks, the Gateway Pundit has covered the long-anticipated trial between Eric Coomer and Mike Lindell over allegations that Lindell defamed Coomer by platforming claims made that Coomer was Eric from Dominion on an Antifa call in September of 2020, where it was said that Trump won't win. I made effing sure of it. During the trial, Joel Oatman, who claimed to be on the phone call, testified that he had contemporaneous notes of the call. However, Coomer's attorneys argued that there was no call. During Oatman's cross-examination, an affidavit from Tay Anderson, another case filed by Coomer, not only confirmed the existence of the call, but also aligned with Oatman's notes in terms of what was discussed. In the affidavit, Anderson stated that there was no Eric from Dominion on the call. However, the other topics mentioned were quite specific to Oatman's notes, including protests for Breonna Taylor and Antifa's desires to go after Joey Camp for infiltrating their group's events. The Gateway Pundit reported on this the day the affidavit was revealed. You can read up on the rest of the case here and here. Following a 3-hour deliberation on Friday and all day today, the jury reached a verdict. The defamation case in Colorado federal court between former Dominion voting director found Mike Lindell and Frank Speech liable for defamation, saying he engaged in civil conspiracy to broadcast the defamatory claims. Lindell was ordered to pay Coomer $2.3 million in damages, short of the $62 million he was seeking. MyPillow was not found liable. That's kind of good. You can also see here in this original tweet that, where is it here? Yeah, jurors found Lindell engaged in a civil conspiracy with his company, Frank Speech. It's not looking good for these people. You know, I did believe these guys for a little bit back in the day. I thought, you know, oh, they had something. And then I realized within like 2 weeks that they were just like full of shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I never thought we were going to get back the election. You know what I mean? And then they just took a lot of money from people. And what happened to it? I don't know. That being said, Justin, former Coast Guard lieutenant and sharpshooter who identifies as Antifa, is arrested for threatening to kill Trump. I think we have an image here. This is Peter Partisan. Let's peel the orange mother effer. This pic's stolen. I'm sorry, but the sentiment is spot on. So here it is. Ha! You got him, bucko. You flipped off the president. He's never going to recover. Christina Lila reports that a former Coast Guard lieutenant and sharpshooter who self-identifies as Antifa was arrested for threatening to kill President Trump, according to CBS. A former Coast Guard lieutenant and sharpshooter has been arrested for allegedly making threats to kill the president. A 19-page affidavit, a Federal Bureau of Investigation affidavit, lists out scores of alleged social media threats by Peter Stinson, who served 33 years in the U.S. Coast Guard up until 2021. He also served as the Federal Emergency Management Agency instructor. Social media posts quoted in charge in the documents, which span from 2020 to 2025, include online statements that suggest using a gun, a knife, and a poison against Mr. Trump. In several cases, Stinson allegedly said that he didn't have the skills to kill Mr. Trump himself. He said he's willing to serve in a support capacity or raise money for a contract hit. Federal investigators also alleged within 48 hours of the 2024 attempted assassination of Mr. Trump, Stinson posted just 3 inches and today would be a different day, followed by criticisms of the shooter's skills. According to the affidavit, Peter Stinson posted the threats against Trump on X and Blue Sky, which Blue Sky is like basically where liberals go to share child porn. It's kind of crazy, I know, but it's true. How do I know that? Because wherever liberals go, there's child porn. That's a well understood thing. Like they just whenever they make an app, they start sending that to each other. There was a huge problem with that on Instagram and on X years ago, and they fixed that. It was genuinely alarming, actually, for a while. But they were worried about fighting. Remember, they wanted to fight white supremacy and Trump supporters instead of protect children? Because why not? He's currently in jail. That being said, Bill Maher calls out far-left actor Sean Penn for saying that he wouldn't meet Trump after meeting Castro and Hugo Chavez. Mike LeChance reports. We have the full clip for you here. No need to read the story. Listen to this contradiction, and you tell me what you think.
I have not been invited. The only reason I would not accept an invitation is because I see no, it's a long flight. And I see no,
really? You'll meet with fucking
I don't think
Castro and Hugo Chavez, but not the president of the United States?
Yeah, I saw good results come out of some of those things in terms of agendas that I had. I don't think that there's anything that I would, I just personally wouldn't trust anything that was said in the room, including the personality.
It's not a matter of trusting it. It's a matter of seeing it, matter of experiencing, matter of knowing it.
Yeah, it's
more knowledge. It's like saying, I don't want this medical test because I don't want to know. I want to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
I have some good friends that, are.
I said this many times within the piece when I did it, that like, it's up to, I'm just giving you the report. It's up to you to make the decision. Who do you think is the real guy? I'm telling you, there's a very different guy behind closed doors in a different setting. Now,
or capable of performatively seeing that, yeah.
Well, one of the, my friends who believe in astrology would say he's a Gemini. Of course, there's 2 of them. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Other people will say, well, the real guy is the guy you met, and he's playing this clown on TV, And other people will say the reverse. You know, he said, well, I mean, it seems harder to do the reverse. I mean, can you really pretend to be sane? You can pretend to be insane. I think it's harder to pretend to be sane, to be measured and like all the things I said, which is just what happened. Mm-hmm. So again, there's three parts of this. Would you go to the dinner? I think you're crazy not to want to see up close the person who's this important in everybody's lives for the last decade.
You know, I understand that.
Two, are you going to lie about it? I'm sorry, I'm not a liar. I don't lie. So I told the truth. And then three, do I go back to doing what I always did? Yes, I did.
Yeah, but you could have told more truth or you could have told less truth.
I told a lot of truth. I told everything.
I would have enjoyed a little more brevity on that. But I absolutely understand that.
But that's just emotional. You were just triggered.
It's possible. It's possible. It's true that.
But I
for some reason, this particular president triggers me rather often.
Exactly. He makes people crazy, but he's not making me crazy. But so you really wouldn't go?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I think I wouldn't, because let me put it this way: what I know I would not do.
Especially, he's very.
I would not go. Let's say, so for example, when we talk about this very different president of Uruguay, you know, there were things that Uruguay had models of in development that could be very helpful to Haiti, and I went to see if we could get some training from them and so on and so forth, which we did. And whereas if I were, let's say, representing a cause célèbre, say it was Ukraine, say it was whatever it was, I would not fool myself that I was going to get anywhere with him. I know that I wouldn't. I know that I would have no influence.
Bad attitude. You don't know that. You don't know anything. He's a guy who frequently seems to go by what the last thing he heard was. He's I'll tell you this about Donald Trump, and you don't know it because you don't go to dinners. It's all about.
I didn't go to dinner with President Trump. That's true.
You should. It's all about personal relationships.
I've not been invited.
Okay, I will get you an invite. He's a star fucker in a way. I bet you he would like to meet you. And you would have a...
Yeah, he'll see the show. He says, if I see him, they're going to call me a star fucker.
I don't think he watches the podcast. He does watch the show. He's a faithful viewer.
He's got people that do his thing. You know, Dan Bongino would be knocking on your door if you didn't go to dinner.
That's not why I did it. And it could work out the other way. You don't know.
Does Sean Penn call him Dan Bongino? That was weird. Okay, anyway, that's kind of bizarre. Now, don't forget, guys, we're always reminding you to get these new Never Surrender Trump shoes. You got to check these out. They're absolutely amazing, extremely beautiful. They are collectible. There's only 1,000 available, and even the laces are gold. I love that they have these nice gold stars on the end as well, and it's got the T for Trump. This is a great way to show your patriotism and support for this president in tough times. One of the reasons why I like these ones as well is, you know, sometimes you don't want to wear a hat. You just want to wear one of these, you know, comfy and durable shoes. And especially they're like collectibles. I'm not really going to wear these. Like, they're not my style, but they look cool on the set. You know what I mean? So they're a good decoration, but I really think if you have like teenagers too, or you like sneakers, this is pretty cool to wear around. I mean, you've got to, you know, support this. This is a pretty good product. But one of the best parts about this shoe that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that, number one, it is a statement. No matter where you go, you're going to look good, you're going to look flashy, and people are going to ask you, what the hell is on your feet? And the answer to that is love for my country. And they're going to say, are those Trump shoes? Yeah, and he's the president, and shouldn't you also want, in any case, the president to do well? So we're supporting the president, and we're showing that we don't care. This is a great way to test, are you scared to share the truth about what you think about this country and the president, or do you yourself, do you want to show your patriotism? Right now you can by grabbing a pair at themagaoffers.com/GP. That's THEMAGAOFFERS.com/GP with up to 15% off using our Pundits link. Act fast, links on the screen and in the description. That being said, a teacher union chief, Randi Weingarten, resigns from the DNC position and people have questions. Randi Weingarten, the head of the largest teacher union in the country, has resigned from a longtime position she held at the Democratic National Committee, and people have questions. Specifically, why did the head of the largest teacher union have a position at the DNC? For years now, conservatives have complained that teacher unions seem to be in bed with the Democratic Party. Now that we learned that the most powerful figure in teacher unions had an official job with the party, funny how that went unmentioned by the party and the media for years now. Teacher unions head Randi Weingarten resigns from the DNC. Check this out. It's kind of crazy. On the front cover of the New York Times, what in the world happened there? Apparently in a dispute with the Post chairman, a letter, Ken Martin, Miss Weingarten wrote, "I appear to be out of step with the leadership you are forging." What did she mean by that? Is she herself a student-first oriented individual and she sees that they're pushing socialism, communism? Did she realize that there was a lot of parent backlash to the homosexuality being pushed on our children and the transsexuality, and she thought, I don't want to be for that. I want to do something better or for our children? Or is it that they weren't extreme enough? They're trying to become moderate to get back the moderate voters that they lost in the last election. I guess only time will tell. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, if you like videos like this, don't forget you can sign up for our mug club directly on our website. Join. It's just a few bucks a month, and you get this awesome mug. It's very high quality. It's embossed, and it's a great way to drink what you love every single morning right from your home. Pick one of those up on our website directly. Thank you so much again for watching another episode of the Gateway Pundits Weekend Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget as well that I have a show Monday through Friday on Rumble here and on YouTube. It's brand new. It started 2 weeks ago. It's called The Rift. It's on Rift TV, RIFT, The Rift. You can find it on YouTube. Be one of the first subscribers. Check it out. Every day, live, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.